All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is a good day. I'll just play that song. Glad everybody's on today. It's Monday. It feels like it's been like a month since we've been on this call because we had the one holiday where we took off. Oh,
Yeah. Why haven't we been doing the daily coaching call? So it seems like this one hasn't,
I
like I
know.
haven't
I
got
know. We
to.
see so many people. Sherry, have you been able to get on any of the daily coaching calls?
Yeah, she has.
Okay.
She's she's been on almost daily. She's fitting it into her
Yeah,
life.
I have. Sorry about that. I couldn't get myself unmuted.
No
No,
worries. No worries. No worries at
Yeah,
all.
I have, and I think they're awesome. I don't know one day that I haven't walked away with at least 3 items that I didn't know or couldn't use. So yeah.
That's why I think it's so powerful. One of the things that I've found for sure is two things. Is one, we're hearing from a lot of different people, and we've known some of these people for a long time, but then a lot of them, I'm just really getting back to know them. Of course, with cancer, we haven't been really out and about as much to see people out there, but yeah, and I think it gets us thinking about stuff every day. And so don't hesitate, raise your hand, got a question. That's what it's for. The vision of the calls were really about just having a daily check-in and getting new people in there as well as having, seasoned people, just having a place to come and chat and ask questions. And I really think I know, like, Fitz picks out like one topic a day, kind of like in case you missed it. But what I know is I miss. There's probably about three or four of those things in there, you know,
Yeah.
that are like that. So
I
that's what
just
fires me up about it.
I just see it as an accelerator, like an accelerator for all of us. Because like you said, Sherry, there's so much to know, or there's so much to learn in this industry. There's not one person who can teach you everything because there's a million things to do to become, partner. There's a million things to do to become a successful agent who has a book of business. There's a million things. It's just like so many little things, just like anything. And so there's, I just love it because I feel like it's an opportunity for, mostly it's about sales, right? Like we're teaching sales process, but what I love about it is that it's an accelerator for the sales portion, which if you have people coming in to the business, like if you are recruiting and building an agency, it gives you a platform to plug people into. So you're not having to hold all the burden of doing all the training with your people, which is pretty incredible. And it's daily. So it's like, okay, if somebody has to miss a day, no worries, it's a day, but like get on tomorrow, nobody's mad at anybody. Life happens. We're all busy. Like, no, but it's just, I see it as an accelerator. And I just think that we give this 90 days, and just continue to work at it in a 90-day sprint. And I think that it will transform all of our businesses if we allow it to.
Well, I think one of the things for me, if I think about it, like, what we've had in our career thus far is, here's some classroom style training, right? Like here's some courses to go look at. Here's some websites to go study, manuals, right? And the only real, I call it real practical in the seat kind of training you got was call me from the home. And I look at that's really where we've been for the last 15 years, and it was great, remarkably successful. And we've had different
Yeah.
points where we've had calls where we do like mock appointments and stuff like that. But what you're saying, to your point, Megan, is that these are like daily from the field, like this is what people are experiencing. And it's not even just the new people that you can hear from. I think it's important to hear from some of the seasoned people. Even some of the lessons that we have, from Michelle, it's like, well, she's Michelle. I'm like, yeah, but she has new things she's learning all the time. I mean, just like the other day, she figured out how to do these pins of text on her iPhone, from Jonathan. It's like, oh my God, never knew, stuff like that. Just practical things to learn. And so I think it's kind of like we're all in the car every day. We're all in a house together every day. We're going to get better and better at it.
For sure.
Hey, Jeffy.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Renee. Hey, Beverly.
Good morning.
Good morning. How was everybody's week? How was your week, Jeff?
It's coming together. I got a couple to finish up today, but was out of town a lot of last week, so one of the privileges of our business.
Oh, you still look like you're on an airplane right now.
I know, right? I never know which background's going to pop up. This was right before we landed in Kona on the Hawaii trip.
Nice. Yeah, I had a brief moment of panic. I was up here jamming to the music, and I went to turn on my cameras, and all of a sudden, it's like nothing was showing. I had to jump behind the computer, unplugging and plugging the cameras in. Because the last thing I did before the weekend was I upgraded my system to Windows 11. Then I don't think I did any zooms after that, so I was like, I got work to do today.
Yeah, I held off on that, and I couldn't figure out how to turn my computer off for the longest time. Eventually, you'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. Well, I had done it before, and I come back and I put it back to Windows 10 because my speaker didn't work. Then I figured out how to round that.
Joe Biden marking the 21st anniversary.
Good morning, Beverly.
Hey, Beverly.
Good morning. Morning.
What's going on in your world, girl?
Well,
It's been kind of rocky for me. It's slow. I started working, but then I'm not going to keep with that company. So I'm looking to do something at home.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you got to do something while you're getting this off the ground. And that's people forget.
Unfortunately, it's just me, and I've got to pay the bills.
Oh, I know. I mean, even when we first started, Michelle was doing this part-time. She was doing other things for probably a good almost a year before we got her off the ground on this. And then it was 3 years before we got it to a point where I can quit my job and do it. So, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I think that's the message to everybody, This is not necessarily it's a simple business, right? It's not necessarily easy all the time. You can hear it in the daily calls. There's people that have like 0 days, and you're like, well, my God, they're some of the greatest people I've seen. And I'm like, yeah, I know, and even for Michelle's activity, sometimes, I still go like, she's happy to have the activity, and that's where it starts, getting some activity going. So every time I see your background, man, I think about Paris.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go someday, I hope.
Oh yeah.
Beverly, you've inspired me. I have actually, let me see if I can flip my camera. I have this little piece of artwork that I got when we were in Paris, and it's a drawing of the Eiffel Tower in black and white. And we were redoing, boards. We were redoing my guest bedroom this week, and the guest bedroom is also / my office. But I have this. Yeah. Eventually, I'm gonna hang it. Like, Beverly.
I was gonna get a big cherry blossom tree, but a friend of mine went to Ross and saw this, and he came home with this.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want you guys to think about is, because this is something I wish I would have thought about sooner. When we started traveling, like when you start earning incentive trips, I don't know about y'all, but like I feel like everybody kind of has something that they want to take home from like big trips that they go on, like a souvenir type of thing. And a lot of people, it's like a coffee cup or a magnet or whatever. And we were already a few trips in, and I'm like, I don't know I don't know what it's going to be for us, but I want it to be something. And I was like, I'm going to make it maybe street art. Street art's kind of cool, but that's not everywhere, right? Like that's not. So I eventually settled. I just finally figured it out, like 8 incentive trips later, that I'm going to start doing just Starbucks coffee cups, because everywhere has a Starbucks, right? Everywhere has a Starbucks.
They're always having a new cup too.
And they have the I was here travel cups, and they're stackable. But I'll still look for street art, because that's what that was. And but that's just not everywhere. So I had to let the street art go.
And
The
Megan,
coffee cup thing from Starbucks is an easier one. Sorry, what'd you say?
My little grandson, his job is at Starbucks at the airport. So I'm really excited. I used to spend all my time at Starbucks when I got to work.
Everybody loves Starbucks.
that's great advice. I don't know if y'all saw the text that went out this weekend. And oh, by the way, I am switching over some phone systems, so you may get texting from a different phone number. Don't freak out. I will let y'all know, hey, this is Mike. This is the new text number. I don't know when it's going to be, if it'll be by next week or not, but I'm working on getting our phone system shifted over. But anyway, the prompt that went out this week was, what area of your business do you need help with? You know, and it's not something necessarily this is something that we discussed in one of our staff meetings about writing prompts, thinking prompts, you know, and it was like, oh, this makes total sense, because one of the people I followed during our cancer journey was somebody who is a writer, and she does, you know, she has prompts that goes out on a week-to-week basis. You can throw that answer up here or send me a private message or something, but I want y'all to start thinking about these things on a weekly basis. And I got a whole bunch of topics to throw out there, but there'll be one topic a week. We're not going to go too crazy. But I thought this was a great one to start with. You know, what area of your business do you need help with? You know, is it setting the appointments? Is it finding new clients? Is it, you know, is it just, you know, understanding a product better? Is it, you know, whatever it could be for you? It could be the technology. It could be, you know, just dealing with rejection. You know, tell you what, easy with rejections with texting, because you just delete it, you know, just drag it. But if you got anything, yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what has been a challenge is we have so many companies and so many products now, and it's awesome, but it's like, man, I'm constantly, you know, I'll contract for one when it pops up and then not think about it again. And, you know, Michelle does a good job, because she'll just sell one to the next client, you know, and that's really how you learn these things. But she sells one of everything. I really like the Washington National, the Accident Assure. Man, you talk about a hard one to get your head around. And that's got to be the hardest app I've ever done, because it's not really designed to be an individual app. But, you know, it's like, then I hear, oh, you know, got to do this one, got to do rural neighbors, got to do. And so I'm constantly adding them. But, you know, every time you add a new company, that's like 2 more websites, new e-apps. And you know what I would like? Okay, like everything we don't have products that are just to have them, pretty much. It's like somewhere this is the very best thing that's out there for a certain situation. And I wish when we would come out with a new product, it would be like, look, here's the best, you know, the best fit or the best gaps for some of these. Megan, you look like you want to say.
I was going to say, I understand how you feel, because there is a lot of that, but that's like one of the benefits of being an independent broker, is we have options to help everybody and put them actually in the best case scenario. And it is, we do have a lot of carriers, but we actually have access to like 400 and we only have 40. So from that perspective, it's like, all right, cool. We really do only have the best of the best for each situation. But what I was going to say, Jeff, was that was one of the things that we talked about when Gina was here was, hey, will you explain to us like why Royal Neighbors is like, what is their sweet spot? Like, that's what we're constantly looking for as the agent. What's their sweet spot?
Right. Like I
and we
heard they don't do weight, right? So now we have 2 products that don't do weight.
We have 3. We have CVS, Aflac, and Royal Neighbors.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, what else? Prosperity is another one that we went over that maybe I can share my
They
screen.
know we had Affleck.
We do. Ask Melissa Bruno for the Aflac contract. Don't do that one. Do that one through Melissa Bruno.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that's our CVS final expense, and this you can just get a better deal.
It's the same exact product as the CVS final expense. It's the same exact platform for the e-app. Same underwriting guidelines, same everything.
And
They're just priced a little bit different. In some cases I've found they've been a little bit lower. Some cases I've found they've been a little bit higher. You just never know.
Well, listen, and that is the best thing. I mean, I would take that difficulty and challenge of having all these companies, because the fact that we have access to them. I mean, I hate to be beat by another company. I want to have access to that.
Well, and it just feels good when you know you're putting your client into the true best case scenario for them.
Yeah, and
Like,
I love that. That's the best.
You know your business isn't going to get rewritten. There's not an agent that's going to come.
I've never been able to find somebody who has a product that's like way better. I mean, you can't even really find anything that's as good. I almost had my face shook the other day. I was working with a client, not a normal product. They're doing $1 million terms, and I quoted the best ones with living benefits. They're medical policies, but I didn't really want my clients to have to do an exam. And so I quoted some, and then, he came back to me with a quote from like 7 companies that, we don't work with any of them. And all of them, were lower than the ones I had thrown out there. And I was kind of like, man, I've never come across getting beat. But I went back to the drawing table, and he's just flat out trying to get, and I knew that they wouldn't have living benefits probably and stuff like that. But I went back to our companies, and I'm like, okay, well, who didn't I quote? If we're just going to go for flat out cheapest. And you know what? I was able to quote Transamerica that was like $100 cheaper a month than any of the ones that he had. So somebody pulled him up like 8 companies. Hey, but guess what? We got one that if you just want to have the cheapest life insurance, I smoked all of them.
Yeah, when you're in a competitive situation, that's where you learn, certain nuances about certain products, but it's definitely not the bread and butter. We know that. But like when you're in competitive scenarios like that, it's either the product is different or the agent is lying.
Right. And I mean, look, we know most of the
because like you said, Jeff, we have all the products. We have the most competitive ones. So
I mean, look, even the other day we're in the car and Michelle's talking to a client, swore he had an Americo cash back policy. And she's like, well, when did you get it? How much you paying for it? She goes, you don't have that. I can tell you right now, because she knows the pricing and she ran some pricing on it. But I'll also say this, Jeff. I think, the perception is Michelle just goes and writes it, but she just has like, I'm going to call it this encyclopedic knowledge of her client base. And once she hears what that product can do, she's like, oh, that's a good product for that person. Right. But like Meg was saying, we this is something we talked to Gina about. Like, we need those Those kind of key points. Like, why do we
Cheat-
get this
cheat sheet.
product?
Like we had for whoever came up with the one with the different types of payments that all the carriers take.
Yeah.
I mean, that's already helped me get a couple few deals. Okay. If we had something like I remember one time, I mean, I have a CVS or a CFG policy, the biggest one I could get. But one time Todd was talking and it was like, well, I'm sure you figured out, we're really the niche for male smokers. And I'm like, well, no, I didn't really know that. I wish I would have. It'd be great to have just from our viewpoint,
Well-
not from the carriers. Here's
Well-
where this has got the big competitive advantage, like no height weight for these products. You know what I mean? Because you can go and look, Insurance Toolkit's cool. I wish it would just list all the prices at once. You didn't have to go to each one individually. That would make it a whole lot more.
Well, the Fitz Group one is unrestricted, and that one will list the pricing,
Yeah.
but
I'll
it's
talk to you about
$33
it.
a month.
Oh, we have a new one we have access to.
Yeah. I'll shoot you the details after the call.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say the insurance toolkit is really that and also the underwriting guidelines. I mean, because a lot of that underwriting stuff, I mean, that could be something you could ask Gina to put together. There's no harm in asking Gina if she could put a sheet together that said, sweet spot for each product, underwriting wise. But at the end of the day, there's still no, there's still always going to be something that throws a wrench in it, right? Somebody's got COPD and they take metoprolol and carvedilol for congestive heart failure. It's like, well, okay, at that point, we know it's guaranteed issue, but you get the point. You could certainly ask her to put something together like that because she would be the one who would do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you can kind of figure it out through time with the insurance toolkit, but I know a lot of our new people don't use that. Like I'm noticing Transamerica, which used to be my number one product I wrote before they changed it. But it seems like it's the best one right now. If you've got complications from diabetes, they don't ask about that. It's like, do you have kidney disease? No. If you don't, I mean, you can get a standard there where you're going to be graded with every single other company, unless I'm missing something.
No, they're still my
go.
go. They are still my go-to for complications of diabetes, but I also think that Royal Neighbors is good for complications of diabetes. And that's where the toolkit is going to come in handy, Jeff, because we're not figuring out which carriers are the best in what scenarios because we're not running all of them through the toolkit. Because if you run them through the toolkit, it's going to tell you which carriers they can qualify for at what rate class.
It shrinks the number of carriers you got to handle.
Right.
Oh.
And while it's good, but we write a lot of universal policies as the company. And then like when I was doing the higher term, I mean, I know we always want to write non-medical, but the more people you're going to deal with, the more scenarios you'll come across that, you could walk away from, or you could write the business.
Yeah.
And, so it'd be cool if it expanded to if you could compare all of the IUL, and just go, okay, so usually we know which ones we think are best, but there's so many new ones now, and you go run an illustration for every one. I mean, so we don't want to confuse our clients, but just so we know, I like to know where in my mind, what's best and why.
Okay, so let me give you my quick thought process on it, because there is no toolkit currently, and maybe there will be in the future, but there is no toolkit currently that can do IULs. Why? Because IULs or ULs, comparison wise, because they're all used for different things.
Right.
So the way that I think about, because it's just not one size fits all. So the way that I think about Smart UL versus IU, so Smart UL is with foresters, IULE is with Mutual of Omaha. F&G Path Setter is with F&G. And those are the three that I use for the most part. And so let's just speak on those three. Forrester's Universal Life, if somebody has diabetes and they just want permanent life insurance, that's the one I'm going with. Okay. And also, if they want permanent life insurance that's going to build some cash value, Smart UL is what I'm going with. Period. End of story. IULE is permanent life insurance, but not going to have a lot of cash value. Like the purpose of it is not cash value. That's why it's priced so much lower than the Smart UL, is because its purpose is to not build a lot of cash. It's just, its purpose is to just have long-term life insurance. So we really don't want to
if
pull
you
for that one.
overfunded it, it's going to be better than the Smart UL.
But we're just talking about generally, right? Like, I'm not trying to make it complicated. You can manipulate any universal life to look how you want it to look. But I'm just talking about the way that the product was designed.
Right.
Because that's how I use them. I don't try to make it, I mean, personally, I don't try to make it complicated and manipulate those two, because if I'm going to use an IUL for the purpose of tax-free retirement, I'm going to use F&G Path Setter, which I can manipulate that one to do what I want it to do. But for the Smart UL and the IULE with Mutual of Omaha, Smart UL is going to be for long-term life insurance with cash value buildup. IULE is just long-term life insurance at the lowest cost. Simple.
Right.
Just keep it like that.
Basically, IULE, with the new way they did it, it's become the cheapest final expense if you're healthy, non-medical, if you can get at least 25,000.
If you're healthy. Right. That's the key, because Mutual of Omaha is very picky on their underwriting. Yeah. Does that help? Like, that's just the way that I think about it. I don't try to manipulate those two to do what I want them to do. I just let those products be what they are.
Oh, I don't play with them either, because we have a lot better policies to do that.
Exactly. Well, hey guys, we're right up at 8:00. If you have other thoughts or other questions, send it to us, Mike@allemangroup.com, and we'll get it out there, or drop it on the chat and the AG team on Slack. And don't forget, 9:00 is our daily coaching call. Don't forget, tomorrow is still sales meeting. We're still doing that at 10:00. So if you got numbers, need to get them in today and get them to the right people so we can get those reported right. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next Monday, same time, same bad place. And it's been a great weekend. Y'all seen pictures of us on Facebook? We did the whole disco thing. And we're ready for the next disco party. We'll be happening again. But yeah, y'all just got there and make it a great day. We're trying to do the same thing over here. All right.
All right. Y'all have a good week. See you soon.